welcome everybody. Looking forward to, first of all, we've got some new people, and so I'm going to kind of go over like some just basic missions trip things. And some of you guys, like Maria and I have both been before, if y'all want to speak up and share anything with your experiences, you're more than welcome to. But the dates are down there, and this is a group missions trip. You can go online and look at their website, and this is a home repair type of trip. Often I ask, well, what type of skill level do you need? Like, you can have a 0 skill level and be perfectly fine. There is a lot of painting involved, and then light carpentry work, like the most intense would be like porch building, a lot of handrails, things of that nature. Couple things, we sleep in a school or possibly a church. You have to have air mattresses and cots, and for those of you who go, what we'll probably do this year especially is have another meeting kind of late May, and at that point I'll go ahead and get out all of your, because once we get to past the deposit point, I'll get you the information on what you need to bring, but I'll go over that too, so that you know what's optional, what's not, what you'll never use, and what is very useful. Anyway, have to complete the 6th grade. I need deposits by March the 15th, or 17th, I'm sorry, that's a month from today. If anyone has an issue with the deposit, please let me know, because we can work around that. But what is different this year is this, we're still in this COVID pandemic, and so there will be some different changes. Would one of you guys like to tell about something you did, like what you do on your job site?
I know one thing we did was every day, we got there and we visited our resident, we checked in with them to see how they're doing, and then we asked is there anything we could do to help them. And then after that, we mainly just started to work and paint, because we were on the painting site, and so I know with the painting we had to get on ladders, and they would get another group to be there, and they would always be standing right near the ladders to help us. So we did that mainly for the day. Okay.
Yeah, and something I thought of when you were talking is one of the things that is really cool about group is it is, this is of course Christian based, it's very Jesus centered. You start your day typically off with breakfast, and there's a morning program, followed by you leave for your job sites. You have devotions while you're on the job site, and you come back to the school. You can look on their website, but I'll kind of briefly go over a couple things. One of the things is there are separate shower times for adults and minors. And so that's always a little chaotic, because you have to read of when your shower time is, and they're pretty strict on that, but they have multiple times. This is where we kind of deviate from previous years. Normally, they throw you in a room and put as many people sleeping as possible. But because of COVID, they are working towards having extra accommodations so that you'll only have one youth group towards per space. The other big change is normally you actually work with people that you don't know. You are put in groups. However, because of this, they're going to try to keep youth groups together so that you're kind of keeping the bubble, if you will. And see, some of this stuff on the list, I am going to have to let y'all know more for sure later on, because some of these things are in flux, and I did call them this week. However, they couldn't really tell me what is 100% going to happen and what isn't, because right now we don't know where we'll be in June. If things are remarkable better, it might change some, because, for example, it has There is some talk about having to wear color-coded bracelets based on your level of comfort being close to people. And typically they have big programs, and you're in a gymnasium, you're close together, and it may be this year that they have A and B group where you would get in and one group might eat while the other one goes to program, and another group then might have program with a later eating time. And I don't know how all of these things will exactly all play out. One thing, and this is kind of my thing, we have to take temperatures daily on the trip. And one thing I'm kind of sort of putting in place for our group is that we are going to do a temperature check for everyone on the day we left, similar to the beach trip, so that, and hopefully it won't become an issue, but that way if we know everyone is feeling well, hopefully that will keep us safe. One thing that is a little perplexing to me is it says that you will be wearing masks on the job site. I don't quite understand that personally unless you're interacting with the elderly residents, because if you're outside and you're working with your youth group, and these are the same people that you're sleeping with at night and sharing a room with, I'm not quite sure why that would be a requirement. And my guess is they're throwing out lots of possibilities at this point. It's a fun thing. I guess the biggest thing to think of in your mind is that it's not we're not staying at a 5-star hotel. One kid years ago when I was in Pennsylvania complained about every single meal except when there was bacon. And after that, they quit having bacon at the work camps because and I really think he was singularly responsible because he got a plate of bacon and piled it. It's kind of like at the breakfast way, but he complained about every meal. And the thing is, we're kind of all in it together. There's going to be things that you like and things that you don't like, but it's a good opportunity, and you learn some life skills, and it's a lot of fun. I think I'm going to open it up for some questions. Does anybody have any questions?
On the base, how many people would you say is going to attend this mission trip if you had to guess?
Total? I would say no more than 300. The max of these things used to be 400, but they haven't hit 400.
And that's coming from all over the...
Correct.
Everywhere?
Yes, but that might not be this year, but usually the numbers are around 300 a camp. So, and that's why they've added these other measures with the program and working with your own youth group, because that's the problem with this kind of trip and why it didn't happen last summer, is getting people from different parts of the country and then slamming them into close quarters. Nothing about that is, sanitary. So I think they're, but it could be potentially, 300 people. So Week of Hopes are much smaller. Usually they're 50 or 60.
My concern is the social distance, and even with the AB is, I'm just a little optimistic about how they're going to do 150 people on Plan A if you were to have 300 people, and keep social distance if you're all going to be in rooms and or groups.
Well,
I'm just concerned with
and the thing I think it's important to understand is we wouldn't be necessarily socially distanced from our group. It would be for example, with the programs, what they would do is have our group here, and there would probably be enough space between groups, but it would be impossible to do it would be impossible. Yeah,
They're mingling with other people at some point out there.
Yeah, but those times, that's when the masks will be required when you're mingling and stuff. So, but those are kind of a concern with
So what made y'all decide to do this instead of going back to the beach again?
Oh, we do this every year. We went in July. We didn't go. It was supposed to be in July, and we've kind of been talking about doing a beach trip 1 year, mountain trip the next. However, that kind of brings to the little sticky wicket of we're actually slated, we will probably either do a mountain trip in the fall. However, unless we want to do our big trip like we did in 2017, we went on a missions trip and then had 3 days at Disney World at the end, and that may be a possibility for 2022. But there's a lot that this COVID stuff's got to be way further on. But that's we do this every year except last year. So. Anybody? Michelle, you went last year. Do you want to tell anything about your experiences?
It's just a lot of fun. I think it's definitely going to be different not having the interaction with everybody all at once, because that kind of really fed the fire a lot of times. It was really neat. But in general, I could see how it could somewhat be feasible as long as you get to stay with your group. I think the only thing I would be concerned about is more time in group time, program time, if the facility is large enough, so like you said, kind of space separate groups out. But I think sleeping arrangements would be fine, and workday arrangements I think would be fine. It's just those group gatherings that I'd be more interested in.
Yeah, because anything, it's kind of like our sanctuary. We've kind of figured. This is not a scientific thing, but that we can get about 85 socially distanced. If you add the balcony and the choir loft, that puts you about 100, and so it knocks about 2/3 off of your capacity. And that's where I do think it's very important, parents and things, that if anyone within the group is feeling ill, even if it's, I think it's just a little cold, it might have to sit one out or something, because of the fact, if we can keep our group fairly healthy, I think we can navigate the rest. And I'm hoping by summer things are tremendously better. So
once they arrive at where they're staying, they'll remain there. There will be no night activity away from them, going to Starbucks, going out, moving around, going to places I think some people actually went places outside that evening.
Yeah.
With the COVID thing, I would hope y'all would keep these kids together at night and not let them go outside to other places.
My guess would be that is something that we can talk about in May as we know where we're at, because if we were going today, I would say absolutely not. We're not going unless, but how are things going to be in June? It could be, it's hard to say with that, but that's, but because we do typically on Wednesday's the half day, we go and do a fun activity. There again, that's kind of sort of shot as of right now, because typically we go to a movie theater and get pizza. Well, right now most of the movie theaters are closed, so those are some things that we get to May that we really need to hammer out. But but it's just like the beach trip. We did not last summer do our normal. We didn't even go putt. So those, and sometimes the camps themselves will plan stuff so you can stay there, because this is not a remote area. It's outside of Columbia, but we've been in areas before where you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's a 45-minute drive to get to something, and it's just not worth it to try to, when you've got 5 hours to do something, is to drive that far and things. So anybody else?